What's up, folks? It's Dr. Raymond Lamo, and I'm coming at you from the Xler, trying to get comfortable here. Doing a very casual kind of review of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, The Quest for Peace. Now, it was actually great, man. It was guys, folks, people, men and women out there of planet Earth. The movie was really good, really good. Like, so the first Guardian surprised me, and this one just pleased me, you know? I was just pleased the whole way through. I didn't have any problems with it. I mean, whatever. I mean, you can nitpick at it, but I don't have to nitpick at it. I really enjoyed the experience from beginning to end. It was very enjoyable, especially as a lifelong Marvel fan. Like, there was so much fanfare in there. Okay, I'm not going to reveal anything. I'm not going to go into spoilers right now. I'll go into spoilers in a little bit. I'll warn you guys when I do, so that if you haven't seen the movie, you can stop the video and come back to it later. But there were a lot of really important, like, classic Marvel elements that were taken very seriously, and everything in the film was executed, like, visually flawlessly. Like, they spared no expense, as John Hammond would say. Everything looked great. There was a lot of humor in it throughout the entire film. There were a lot of touching moments. Sometimes it was a little ambiguous whether it was a touching moment or it was an ironic moment, but I guess ultimately it's a matter of perspective for some of those moments. But I mean, I really enjoyed it. I don't know, like, there was a lot to enjoy, and you have to know that, like, the trailers didn't show you much. Like, even though it seems as though they really did not show you much. There's a lot to this movie that is going to surprise you and delight you, even whether you're a casual just moviegoer or a hardcore Marvel fan. I think there's enough in there that everybody will be pleased by it. There's no reason not to be. Like, the characters are great. The interactions of the characters are great. It's a great dynamic overall for the group. The world of Guardians of the Galaxy is just pleasing. It's just enjoyable. You get this, like, classic soundtrack mixed in with, like, really colorful, interesting, odd images. There was a lot of kind of elements that, again, you wouldn't think would be in there, and were in there and worked really well, and that just made the whole experience satisfying. I really enjoyed. It's one of those moments where it's like, okay, I just saw the film, I'm trying to process it, but again, like, I think I might have liked this one more than I liked the first one. I think that might be the case, because the first one is, it's great and I love it and it was really enjoyable, but it was an origin story. There was a lot of this sort of, like, introducing the characters, and then the characters having to get to know each other, and then them eventually becoming the Guardians of the Galaxy. But in this film, they're the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, all that stuff, it does not need to be in there. And so then you have, like, these really great important story elements that have to do with the characters themselves and drive the overall story in the film, and it's important, and they're all important, and they feel important, and it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like, okay, we need to do this in order for the audience to get to know these characters. It's just sort of the natural next chapter to the tale of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's just really satisfying. Alright, so that's as much as I'm going to say about the film without going into spoilers. Again, if you have not seen the film, I don't recommend you going past this point. But now I'm going to start the spoiler stuff. So, you've been warned, so make sure that you don't get spoiled by this review, that you go yourself and actually watch it, because you should go and watch it, because it's worth watching. I recommend it highly to everybody. Go watch the film. You're really going to enjoy it. I'm going to go watch it again very soon. Probably on Saturday, or I don't know. I'm going again this weekend, without a doubt. So that says a lot. The fact I'm willing to go see it again. It's been a while since I wanted to go see a film twice. I went to see Doctor Strange twice. Okay, so like the last one was the last Marvel film, so that says something about Marvel and my love for Marvel. Anyway, so that's it for the non-spoiler stuff. Let's get into the spoiler stuff. So I really liked how the story centered around, you know, Peter Quill and his father, and his father was revealed to be a Celestial, and Peter Quill is a Celestial himself. And Ego the Living Planet wasn't just a guy, it was actually a planet. I love the whole story of Ego the Planet. I loved how like his power and like his desire to be like everywhere just like corrupted his soul, and like, you know, was willing to, you know, allow him to cross the boundaries of, you know, ethical behavior in the universe with his power, and how that power like changed Peter Quill. He wasn't just like the quippy kind of reluctant hero, but he went to a scary place, you know, a place that he wasn't used to going, having been pretty recently in a very blissful place where like he finally found his father and he was spending some time with him. Like all that was taken away from him so quickly, and then his father essentially attacked him to try to absorb his energy, which was nuts. Anyway, I really like that. I like that as the backbone of the story. I like the whole Yondu subplot with the Ravagers, I think they're called Ravagers. I really like the Nova and Gamora stuff. I think that's just so good because they're related to Thanos. Like Thanos kept getting mentioned. We didn't see Thanos, which is good because you don't need Thanos here. He's gonna be the main villain in Avengers Infinity War, so we don't need to see him right now, which is fine. We saw him in the last film, but you know, there's still an echo of him in the relationship of Gamora and Nova. I think her name is Nova. I might be wrong. Nebula. Her name is Nebula. Sorry about that. Anyway, I really like that. I really like the interaction between Drax and Mantis. That was sort of like the comedic relief throughout the entire film, on top of Rocket Raccoon, which he had his moments, but I think the Drax and Mantis stuff was hilarious, man. That stuff just kept me laughing the entire time. There were a lot of laughs in this film. I really liked how it just kind of went from funny to serious to funny to serious, from funny to serious. It just like it had a really nice sort of flow and rhythm to it. That, I mean, I enjoyed. Like overall, it was really pleasing. Like it was just really pleasing experience. So much so that I'm willing to watch it again for the experience and just really get to enjoy it again, because it was really enjoyable. It was such a. It just makes me so happy to watch these films and just like know that like Disney, freaking Disney, who've made all these like legendary cartoons that are classics, that is known for putting everything into making sure every detail in their products is perfect, that they are responsible and now fully behind bringing to life the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know, the Marvel universe that we all grew up with. Like they're in charge of it, and they are not relenting in like their precision and their perfection and their immaculate execution of bringing that material from the printed page to this more fluid, life, you know, filled medium, which film is just the best, you know. So it's like for them to bring those stories at the quality that they bring them is just so satisfying. All the Baby Groot stuff was adorable and exactly what you would expect. I love the Rocket Raccoon stuff. I love the him and Yondu stuff. I think I mentioned that already. I really liked everything to do with Kurt Russell. Like I think, and like Kurt Russell did such a good job. Like, and so you know who else did a good job? Sylvester Stallone did a good job. I was expecting like something really cheesy with Sylvester Stallone, but like we got like a very serious performance by him. It was a cameo. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough that it gave you know, gravitas, weight to that character that would have otherwise been, you know, nothing, a throwaway. But the fact that he played him, and he played him seriously, you know, it made him important, and I loved it. And it seems as though something more may be happening with that character. We'll see. But oh, and freaking Adam Warlock is going to be in the next film. It's crazy. Finally, Adam Warlock. I'm just really curious about how all of this is going to go. Obviously, we all are. Like, how is the story going to progress past Infinity War? I mean, this is my prediction for Infinity War. I think that Avengers Infinity War, is going to be about Thanos getting all the stones finally, like getting them together and putting them on the gauntlet. And at the very end, he will have the Infinity Gauntlet. And spoilers for the Infinity Gauntlet, folks, but in the story, like, he kills half the population of the universe, like, with but a thought, because he becomes omnipotent, right? He has the powers of a god with the Infinity Gauntlet. So I'm thinking that that's going to happen at the end of Avengers Infinity War, right? And then the subsequent standalone cinematic universe films are going to take place in a world after that had happened, in which the characters have to deal with, like, characters in their lives, important people in their lives missing. So there'll be a few films dealing with that. Maybe Captain Marvel might be in there. I don't know. Maybe Spider-Man 2. Maybe. We'll see. And then the next one will be Avengers Infinity Gauntlet proper, where Thanos has the Infinity Gauntlet, and it's, you know, a loose interpretation of the 6-part series that was, I think, written by Jim Starlin and drawn by George Perez. I think that's how it's going to go. That's my prediction for how it's going to go. You know, I don't know if it's actually going to happen that way, but we'll see, you know. It's kind of looking like it's going to happen that way, and I hope that is the way it's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen after Infinity Gauntlet, but this is the way it's looking. And it's just such an exciting thing to think about, the fact that the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to show up in Avengers Infinity War. I mean, how crazy is that? These characters are finally going to cross over with the other characters that we love, that all exist in the same universe. Oh man, it's going to be amazing. And even the prospect of having a cameo from the Netflix characters like Daredevil and the rest of the Defenders would be pretty amazing. Like, and certainly the Kingpin as well. Oh god. If only. I hope so. I hope we get it. I have a feeling we're going to get it. Anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I loved how he just, like, took off after we saw that scene in the trailer that was essentially the first sequence in the film. I love that most of the trailer was that sequence, like the first 15 minutes of the movie, and then it was all like, okay, now what's gonna happen? We don't know, you know, which is great, because then it meant that the trailers didn't ruin the film, like has been the case for a lot of trailers recently. But yeah, it's just like, it just takes off, and I love the direction that it goes in. I love how it goes in that direction. And I just loved everything with Ego, the Living Planet. I loved it. I love finally seeing the actual planet in the face. Oh, the Watchers, man. Oh, fucking the Watchers. They actually had Stan Lee with the Watchers, implying that he himself is a Watcher, which is what people were talking, like, sort of speculating about for a while recently. And they probably just decided to, like, satisfy the fans and actually verify that is the case, which I think is dope concept. Just the fact that there are Watchers, though, is dope. We actually saw the Watchers. That's crazy. There were a few other surprises. I know Howard the Duck was in there, which is cool. That he was in the first one, but it was cool to see him again. I don't know. There was a lot of great stuff in the film. Really happy with the film overall. I'm gonna give it like a 9.5 out of 10. I'm really happy with it. Really happy with it. Just the way it was directed, the editing, the cinematography, the production design, the acting, the edit. I already said editing. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything bad about it. I mean, whatever. Obviously, people are gonna have the opinions they're gonna have, and it might differ from mine, but fuck you. That's my opinion. I love this movie, and I'm just really happy that we're getting Spider-Man in like a month and a half, and then we're getting Thor 3 like at the end of the year. Oh god, this is so good. And then Black Panther next year, and Avengers Infinity War, and I think Captain Marvel at some point. I don't know. It's all coming up, and it's really exciting. Anyway, that's my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It was an awesome film. I enjoyed watching it, and by gum, I'm going to watch it again. So this is Dr. Remy LeBeau signing off. If you haven't already done so, put an X in that box because ain't nobody checking me. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.